Kickin Kenz here, and I'm an exercise specialist for 9Round. I've just finished up the second trimester of my pregnancy. I've crossed over into the third trimester and I'm in the home stretch. So I thought today would be a great time for me to share with you some tips and tricks to make it through the second trimester while keeping your healthy lifestyle going. As always, it's important to make sure that you're having an open communication with your doctor or healthcare provider to make sure that you're following their recommendations and guidelines when it comes to continuing your healthy eating habits as well as your exercise routine. The recommendations from your doctor could vary depending on each individual pregnancy, so it's important to make sure that you have their clearance and their recommendations before you continue. Modifications are one of the biggest questions when it comes to exercising during your second trimester. At this point, it is recommended that pregnant women stop participating in prone exercises. This means laying on your stomach. For me, I stopped prone exercises at the beginning of my second trimester. So this means that instead of doing exercises like a Superman or a back extension on a stability ball, I started doing other exercises to target my hamstrings and glutes and my lower back in a little bit of a different way. Instead of doing those exercises, I did things like tabletop donkey kicks or a high plank heel kick and other things like that, still hitting the same muscle groups, but in a different way that was safer for me and my baby. Modifying exercises in the supine position, which means laying on your back, is another common question that comes with the second trimester. This modification can vary a lot based upon each individual pregnancy. For me, I didn't really feel the need to modify those exercises until I was closer to the 22-week mark. However, this changes for a lot of people. Whenever I did supine ab exercises, I really noticed that it was harder for me to breathe and it began to be uncomfortable, so I knew that that was the time for me to change those exercises. It's important to make sure you're listening to your body and recognizing how you feel. If you feel like the exercise is really difficult or if it's uncomfortable, then that is your cue that it's time to try something different. Of course, a lot of our ab exercises are laying on our back. However, there are a lot of ab exercises we can do that are not on our back. We can do things in the high plank position, in the tabletop position, in a modified side plank position, and of course we can still do exercises standing as well. When it comes to training our core, it's more than just our abs. It's our entire trunk region. So we're focusing on our back, our hips, our abs, of course, as well as all of the other muscles in our trunk. It is important for us to continue with these core exercises even through our pregnancy, just with those modifications. So doing anything, like I said, in the high plank or the tabletop, maybe a side plank position, is still a great way for you to train your core, which will make your body overall stronger, and this will definitely make for a smoother labor, delivery, and recovery process once your pregnancy has ended. The second trimester is a time of growth for you and the baby, so this is when exercises tend to become a little bit harder. Push-ups became harder, so I started modifying my push-ups. Instead of doing my push-ups on my toes, I focused on range of motion and form and dropped to my knees to really execute my push-ups. At the same time, plyometric exercises that are jumping and a little bit higher impact, also became more difficult. So instead of doing plyometric or jumping exercises, once again, I focused on form, control, and range of motion. I removed all jumping from my exercises, went to things like a step up or just a basic squat with a little bit of extra form work. Same thing with lunges. I removed all jumping except for jump rope or like a basic front to back hop, as these are very low impact movement because your feet are just barely coming off the ground, and these movements are still very beneficial for you with that nerve and motor control as well as warming up for your workout. You may notice that the further you go through your pregnancy, the more out of breath you get, and you might get tired a little bit more quickly. This is a great time to just focus on slowing down your workouts, focus on that breath control, and make sure that you're doing what feels comfortable for you. Don't be afraid to ask for a modification. Definitely lean on your champion 9Round trainer for modifications during your workouts. And once again, please make sure to consult your doctor before continuing with your exercise routine. Now, when it comes to fatigue, many women start to feel much better in the second trimester. They kind of get that nice boost of energy. At this point, it's really important for you to continue with your exercise routine. However, once again, we're always going back to listening to our body. If you're not feeling a really intense workout that day, maybe you can opt for a walk, or you could go for a swim if it's warm outside. Just make sure that you're still moving your body, as this is really important for you and the baby. Of course, if you're still having some sort of morning sickness or a lot of fatigue, it's important to make sure that you're focusing on exercising on the days that you feel good and taking the rest on the days that you need the rest. It's important to make sure that you're properly fueling your body every few hours in order to help combat that fatigue. And it's also important to remember that sometimes a good killer workout can help give you the boost of energy that you need, and it can improve your mood. I definitely found this to be true during the second trimester. Aside from modifying our workouts during the second trimester, nutrition is often another difficult part for us during the second trimester. It's important to make sure that we're properly fueling our body and giving ourselves and our baby the nutrients that they need. It's important to make sure that we're focusing on a well-balanced nutrition plan with all of our macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fat. While it is true that we need additional calories during our pregnancy, we are not truly eating for two. We really only need about 300 to 350 additional calories each day, but it's important to make sure that we're getting those calories from healthy food sources. We need to focus on things like whole grains, lean proteins, fruits, and vegetables. Of course, we also want to make sure we're taking in a lot of water. Of course, cravings are a big thing that come up during the second trimester. It's okay to indulge in those cravings, but once again, we want to focus on adding in more nutrients, fueling our body every couple of hours, and this will help us to avoid some of those cravings. If we're eating whenever we're hungry and not letting ourselves get too hungry, it's easier to avoid becoming too hungry and overindulging in those sweet treats or whatever we're craving. So just make sure that you're focusing on getting in as many lean proteins and vegetables and fruits as possible so that we're able to enjoy those sweet treats without overdoing it. It's always a great option to refer back to the 9Round Nutrition Guide, as this shows us a great breakdown of overall macronutrient balance, as well as good food sources to help us reach those macronutrient goals. This is available in your 9Round member portal for you, and it's still a great tool for dealing with your pregnancy. As I have said many times, it's about listening to your body, knowing your limits, continuing with your exercise and your nutrition throughout your pregnancy, and this will definitely help you to feel a lot better along the way and after the fact. Once again, make sure that you lean on your doctor as well as your 9Round champion trainer if you have any other questions. Keep kicking 9-rounders, and we'll see you at the end of the third trimester.